I'd love to take some questions. I'd love to know, what is your next app? Absolutely. So we're working on some really neat apps for, let's see, one is a circulation company where they manage getting people to sign up for newspapers and magazines and things of that nature. And it's one of those things where they stand outside of like a supermarket and they're trying to get people to come over and enter all of their information in on a form, and it's a very, very labor intensive process. What we wanted to do was streamline all of it. Literally, the consumer comes over, they get the pitch, they understand what it is they're looking for, they swipe their credit card to charge them for the first months and capture their number for a reoccurring fee. And the second is to scan their driver's license. So they have the address, they have double verification, they have the name, and it just streamlines that entire process and can make that sign up go from 5-10 minutes with screaming kids on your side to 30 seconds. A big, big win. Other things we're working on are in doing some augmented reality solutions. We're doing some, let's see, some of the other ones. Doing some point of sale specific apps, but it's kind of all over the place. We're getting lots of people or lots of companies that are interested in many different directions. A lot of them are kiosk based as well. So one of our customers has an enormous deployment of kiosks all around the world, where it's at makeup counters. So the consumer walks up to that makeup counter and they can talk to a makeup consultant, or they're staring at this kiosk that's begging them to enter their skin conditions, and it's really, really cool. So by them going through, they can answer a couple of questions, maybe about 30 seconds worth of questions. No personal identifiable information at that going through this process. And at the end, they're presented with a very clear-cut set of results that make it super, super simple for that consumer to see. And our customer has been seeing wild success with it. So kiosk apps are really, really hot right now. We're working on a number of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Unfortunately, I can't take the wraps off of it just yet. It's a really cool it's a cool app. It's so visually appealing. That's one thing that I would say, if you're doing the kiosk thing where you're being in front of the consumer, Flash really sells. And I'm not talking about Flash as a technology. I'm talking about the sizzle, right? The making that user experience be awesome. Making them say, wow, this was really fun to do. You should go and try it, and have them tell their friends to go and do it too. So I hope that you'll see that out probably in the next couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
But I might do a demo video of it at some point soon, so you'll see it. But fortunately, I can't show it off right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm assuming that you're talking about scanning barcodes with the camera on the device versus scanning a barcode off of the device. So there's a company who is local here in Boston called Level Up, where you essentially have a QR code on the device that is unique to you as an individual. You pair that with a credit card, and then any retailer that supports Level Up, usually will put stickers up around their restaurant or things of that nature. They can scan it, they earn the loyalty all at the same time, and they're incentivized to go back to these restaurants and other retailers. So that's kind of the one side of it. That's a completely proven technology. It works very, very fast. So that's not really a big concern in terms of the technology in my mind. You're just essentially taking a one or two dimensional barcode and putting it onto a device's screen as if it was paper. The other way around is where we are utilizing the camera built into the device to be able to scan a different barcode. There are a number of different libraries out on the market. Red Laser is probably the most common one that people know of that comes to mind, but there's a good number of them out there. There's even an open source one called ZBar that it's okay. I'm not so sure I would use it in many commercial products just yet. But in any case, it is it is the speed of being able to ascertain the particular barcodes can be iffy. If you're supporting various different barcode formats, it's more processing power on each like screen grab, if you will, where it has to say, does it match barcode type A, barcode type C, barcode type D, E, F, so on and so forth, versus if you're looking for a very particular barcode. So utilizing the camera internally can be good, can be bad. It's better for consumer apps, not as great for internally used apps like what I was talking about with the inventory management.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So point of sale apps are traditionally are enterprise apps. In other words, they're not found on the App Store that you would typically think from Apple or Android market even. These are apps that you would theoretically build yourself or license a third party's software, and then you would deploy through a solution like Apperian's Ease. And you would be able to manage that app individually across your entire fleet of devices that you have. So you don't have to worry in any way, shape, or form about the 30% overhead on these point-of-sale apps that Apple incurs. Now, the one thing I will tell you is if you are thinking in terms of self-service apps, where you would be able to allow the user to buy your product through that self-service app, Apple has an exclusion in there for the 30% where if it's a non-virtual good, in other words, something you can hold in your hand, then you are not subject to that 30%, but you also cannot utilize Apple's built-in payment system, like in-app purchases. You have to utilize your own third-party payment processing system. I've actually built apps personally like that, and it's there's not a lot of frameworks out there to just do this for you in the mobile world yet, but there's a couple of startups that are just doing this. I was able to do it myself, building my own APIs and things of that nature. So if that's the area that you're trying to get into, is that consumer self-service, it's definitely doable. A perfect example is Amazon. We are not working with Aisle Buyer. Actually, they are directly upstairs from our offices here in Boston, but we are not actually related to them in any way, shape, or form, as of now, other than they're good friends upstairs.
Yeah.
Sure. So how do you get started? That's always the question. Some companies decide to do this in-house. Some companies decide to contract out to have something custom built, and other companies just try to take as much of a client, an off-the-shelf app, and make it work for their particular need. It really depends. One thing I will tell you is on all mobile devices, and this probably goes without saying, the tighter your experience, I mean, the more tightly honed your experience is, and keeps that brand continuity all the way through, the better end result you'll see. Not just in terms of the end consumer and purchasing, but the how much that user is going to want to come back and use it again and again and again. And your employees will want to use it. If you make a terrible enterprise app or a terrible retail app that nobody's going to want to use, well, then that's money just flushed down the drain. You want to make great mobile experiences. So one of the things you can do if you're kind of not really sure, maybe you have some in-house development, maybe you don't, talk with us. We'll be happy to have an open conversation. We build lots of apps, and we'd love to build your next app. So let us know. You can contact us. We're going to be sending out the presentation. My email's in there, and I'm happy to answer any high-level questions, low-level questions, as deep as you want to go, and we'll try to design out a solution that makes the most sense for you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. We are running out of time, so if you have any questions, I see we haven't got a chance to answer a couple of them. Feel free to reach out to Joe. We will be sending out follow-up email with recording of the webinar and also slides. So thank you very much for joining us, and see you next time.
All right. Thanks so much.